That's for me.
Good afternoon. I'm now calling to order the regular meeting for the Spalding County Board of Commissioners. Oh, excuse me. Let me start this again.
That's not correct.
That's
Work session.
Good afternoon. I'm now calling to order the workshop for the Board of Commissioners meeting for today. At this time, I'd like to ask everybody to please silence any electronic devices and to make sure that they're all ready to go. I'd like to ask Gwen Flowers Taylor to lead us in the invocation and Ryan Bolden to lead us in the pledge of the flag.
Thank you, Clay, for asking me to pray. Father God, we come to you this afternoon, and I come to you this afternoon in so much gratitude. And not just gratitude for myself, but gratitude for this community, gratitude for this board, because you woke us up today. You gave us fresh rain for the earth that you've given us to be stewards of, and you have allowed us to take another breath. We ask you to be in this room today as we get educated and we discern what it is that the people in this community are asking us for. Help us to be the leaders that you would have us to be. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
If you would, please join me in pledge allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, I did not say anything to you, but I would like to know if I might make an amendment to our workshop, if there is time, to discuss animal control.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 4-0. Where would you like that to be? The last item?
Yes,
Okay.
depends on how much time we have.
Yes, got it. Thank you. Agenda item, soliciting bids from Yamaka Road Park Restroom Building. We will hear from the staff this afternoon about the Yamaka Road Park restrooms and staff's request to bid this project. It is my understanding that the funds for this project are from the Hazardous Waste Grant, and no funds to construct this project will come from our general fund. Director Imberger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Yes, that is the request along with approving the general concept. First slide, please. I would also like to make note that this plan has been before PLAC and comes to you with their approval for the concepts as well. As you could recall, we had the UTA Capstone do a conceptual plan for the Yamacraw Road property. We are beginning to remove some of the monitoring that we've been doing since the mid-90s. And this was the concept that they designated. We are looking to implement the first three items, which would be disc golf, practice soccer fields, and the amphitheater. These items would require the use of a restroom building, and that's what we're asking to have approved to bid out today. Next slide. Ooh, what's this? Go to the next slide. We got different slides. Keep on going. Okay, all right. Now next slide. I think we'll be back on track here next. No. Okay. Let me give you, oh, I got the other slide. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
All right, take your time. We understand. The rain causes things to happen.
Back up. I was optimistic I was going to recover, so I apologize. So we'll have it here.
Okay.
This is the first slide, one of the first slides. This is the master plan or conceptual master plan that the UGA students did designate. They did this a couple years ago, and this has been presented to the plaque as well. Yeah.
No.
There's another one on here, there's two. Yeah. Yep, that one right there. Okay.
Okay, the splash pad?
Hmm?
Splash pad?
It's just started. Yeah, splash pad will be next. Once again, I apologize.
No
Sorry
sweat.
about that.
Just let's make sure while we're waiting to get everything ready to go. We're talking about what used to be a landfill
Correct.
that we cannot put houses or anything like that on there because of the environmental issues that are going on with that.
That's correct.
And those are going to go on forever and ever and ever.
Yes, sir.
But we can use it for recreation and things like that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I
Yes.
just make sure
And
everybody
we
knows.
have to be very specific where items go, and we are working with very specific engineers as they monitor our progress as well through the EPD.
Okay,
Okay, next slide. Next one. Okay, next one. Yep. Okay, we saw that. So next will be the building. So what we are looking to do is we will need to facilitate restrooms, disc golf tournaments, and then the beginning phases of the amphitheater. This building here will do that by providing 4 family-style restrooms, an area for office, which would actually be an area for like disc golf tournaments to coordinate. There is some pavilion space here, and then room for storage and the ability to do concessions. We would anticipate actually having some soccer on the facility this fall for practices, and then continue from there. I don't believe the building would be done, but we're going to facilitate some soccer practices there starting in September.
That's
So
now,
we would like to.
as I remember, we have an issue with soccer fields right now.
Yes.
And so this will give us an alternative places to be able to do soccer.
That's correct.
Super,
Yes.
super.
Yes. So we would like permission to seek bids for costing for this project here.
Okay, we're going to vote on this in the next meeting. So if there's any questions everybody has, this is the time to ask Director Emberger.
Are we going to, do we have water there available, or are we going to have a well? Can you hear me? Are we going to dig a well, or is there water, county water available?
No, we have county water available and other utilities. We will need to have a septic system, but that will be placed appropriately by our engineers.
Okay. Well, no, I guess I do.
Either one of you two?
No.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, next item, we will hear from the staff this afternoon about the splash pad project. This is an impact fee project. The project is planned for City Park. Director Emberger.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Next slide. Next slide. As you know, we have some splash pads approved with the impact fee projects. This would be the first one. We originally hoped to look at a location on Carver Road. We were going to use well water. We were unable to find a suitable location for the water. So this location here offers several opportunities of infrastructure that's already built, including parking. We have staff that would be on site. We have restroom buildings already there. There's a concession stand already there. We would look at remodeling those items to be more preferred for the splash pad area. This slide here shows where we would be locating the splash pad between the City Park Community Center, the skate park, and the existing restrooms. This is next to the field where we typically have our Christmas event. Next slide. So we worked with Vortex as a manufacturer to devise a concept plan It was important for the concept plan to represent many age groups in the community. So we went from toddlers to teenagers to families as a whole to make sure that we represented all of the activities that would be good for each of these age groups. Next slide. So this is the area that would be for children and teenagers. You could also see here that the colors reflect not only the county's colors, but also the city's colors. We would propose to ask the city to participate in the utilities of this splash pad. So we would be able to customize the colors to reflect our community. Next. This does have a couple of items that a lot of kids seek out, one being the bucket. That's an extremely popular area, and there's a lot of hands-on with squirt guns, and you can see the item there to the right is a very hands-on area for smaller children. The bucket and the middle areas is more for the older children. Next slide. We also wanted to address toddlers. Not all toddlers like splash pads. There's a lot of kids running around, the water coming from overhead. Sometimes the smaller children don't participate as well in those situations. Also, we know that families will be together when they come to this facility, so to give opportunity for parents that have younger children and older children. This area here is a very hands-on area. It's ground level. It allows them to manipulate the water. They could do different rivers, different play, and it allows them to be able to sit down, not have all of the water splashing onto them. Next slide. This is a good example of how we would think it would fit in the area. You would have the two areas separated by some amount of concrete. We don't know that it would be as much as this concrete. We would be looking at fitting a little bit more site-specific. This is very conceptual. This just gives you a good idea of what it could look like. Next. Here's some close-up of some of the items. There would also be some spray elements that come through the pad itself, along with a lot of elements that you can touch and run through. Basically, lots of opportunities to get wet. Next slide. And here you see how they devised and separated the areas from the toddlers to the left, moving all the way to family events to the right. Next slide. So this is some of the color palette. What we did was just conceptual. I think with cooperation between the city and county, we could make it very reflective of what our colors are and what the community is used to seeing for both the county and the city. We would also be including areas next to the splash pad that would include benches and picnic tables and shade and trash cans. And this would also be within a fenced-in area. This would be a free event where you have a push button that would turn on elements at a certain time level, 10 to 15 minutes. The fence would be there so that in case inclemental weather or maintenance, we would be able to secure the area, but otherwise it would be open all the time for free use. That is what we're seek out bids for.
So, say again, and you want the fence for inclement weather.
Well, in case we need to close it, icy weather, or we have maintenance items that we have to take care of for safety purposes, that way we can secure the area by just closing the gate.
Why you couldn't just put some tape up like we do for everything else?
Obviously, we could do whatever we're instructed to do, but we do know from the playground industry that tape is nothing but an invitation to not stay away.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you know,
So a
unless
fence
you don't put
is-
up a 6-foot fence.
Well,
But I'm
I would-
saying that to
I
say,
would,
I don't recall, I started talking to you about this when I went to the water park at Savannah, that they had down on the little green, which, was just a circle with some water coming up. And the one at Chattanooga that I know you're familiar with. And I don't recall that either one of those have any kind of gate or a border. The border in Savannah was just some steps that kind of came up from the middle. So I guess I'm saying, are we doing some stuff extra that we really don't need to do?
we
mean-
could definitely not include a fence in the design.
No,
Absolutely.
I mean, not just trying to look at it from the financial point, but I'm saying in terms of simplicity and, because I know when we looked at these designs, we looked at these and thought, well, colorful, kids, family, fun thing. But when I think about these other places, they don't have all these frills. They just got a big circle or square or whatever and water shooting up. So yeah, I mean, I think that this is good, but I think we should try to keep it as simple as possible. If I had any concerns about this design, and I had shared this with you, was I don't like so much of a cement footprint. We don't have that much green space left in City Park, so I'm interested in maintaining as much green space as we can in that process. And I'm not really sure what that would look like. Clearly, as someone is designing this, that would be. But I think that that is important rather than setting up a big impervious scar on the land, that we kind of look at making sure that we preserve the green space, any of the green space that we can take away, because parking, we're not putting in extra parking, are we?
That's correct, ma'am. It's already there.
So parking is already accounted for.
Yes,
So you
ma'am.
won't have to do anything for that, but in terms of, you got the skate park here, you got the concession stand here, you got the rec center right here, now you're fixing to have this. It's a lot of stuff in one area, and there's not a lot of places where you can make it look green. I don't know how else to say it. So my concern would be less cement and more of a design, because it wouldn't matter to me if you took this design and bent it in half, like a bent barbell, because you don't get the length that you normally would. I think anything that we can do to this design, basically keeping this framework, but reducing the amount of green space we take away is a plus.
Now, are we reusing water? Is this, go ahead. Adam.
So that's there's two options when you build a splash pad. They have what they call flow through, which would be the water flows through. It's city water. It's already treated, so it's good drinking water. So it's good to splash in. We don't have to do anything extra. The other option is filtration system. We would install about 1,000-gallon tank underground, and you would have a pool filter very similar to what you have at the aquatic center, and it would need to be tested daily. There would be chlorine, those types of situations. The flow through is much less expensive to maintain and to build, but it does use water. So the other way doesn't use as much of that daily water capacity, which in this situation could be 50 to 75,000 gallons per day. So it is, we're going to design it both ways, and we need to look at any possible partners that we could get in reference to this specifically to see.
If we do the filtration system, then I would say we would probably need more concrete to be able
Now,
to.
it's gotta go in the ground, right?
A filtration system.
Yeah.
So you'll have a tank underground, and then we would have to build a small shed-style building. We wouldn't build a shed, of course, but that all the pumping system and everything would be above ground inside of an enclosure.
But my issue to the commissioner's comment is we would still have a lot of concrete, because that concrete would capture the water and put it back around. If we didn't have that and we were just letting it go, then we could use less concrete.
So, oh God, this is such an easy answer, would simply be to use some of the spaces on the baseball field. I don't know what the plan is going down the road, or if that's really gonna be a baseball field, but in terms of looking at it on this side, if we want to make more space, that's green space, we have green space that we can use. Now, will that take off a little bit of the space from the cooking and barbecue people? Okay, maybe they just need to line up differently. But I'm saying, we're on the front side of it now. We have an opportunity to allow TJ and them to create a green space in between that will kind of separate it from all of it. But, so I'm spitballing. I'm just saying.
Well, that's what this is
And
about.
one of the benefits of the filtration too would be water restrictions if we have a drought time, and when you're gonna have droughts when it's hot, and that's when people wanna get in the water. So if we're just wasting water running out there, it's no good, no bueno. So we'd have to have a filtration system, something to catch it and recycle our waters.
So this is way into the weeds, and I don't even know if we're there yet. But, so my idea is, what do we think, and TJ probably knows this, the cost of run-through water is going to be in 1 year, the cost of that bill? What is the difference if we have recycled water in the filtration system, which costs us more money on the front, but does it give us a bill forever? The other thing is that there has been this, part of this whole conversation about we'll use the colors that are the city of Griffin and Spalding is because we sat down as a little ad hoc committee, the city and the county, to come up with what this should look like. And I think there was an understanding at the table that the city would be willing to provide the water for that. So then the question kind of counts, okay, so can we say to them, it's gonna be $800,000 a year if we just let it run through? But if you are able to cover the initial filtration system, it will reduce the overall bill. So, I don't know the lifespan of a water park, but it's water coming out of the ground that people can walk in and get cool. And last week, anybody would have wanted to walk in some water, even if it was.
Yes,
Absolutely.
So I think nothing about the design. I think what's around the design, we need to talk about that. Talk about what we'll lose and what we won't lose. But I think those numbers are real because there will have to be an IGA, which, that's above your pay grade yet. But yeah, we will have to get them to do this. And so that will give TJ better direction on pricing, because clearly we did not price what we thought 3 splash pads would be if we were going to filtrate, we're going to recycle the water. And then on the maintenance end for us, if that is the case, then someone else has to know how to do that thing, because I think it gets checked monthly or weekly.
Check daily.
Daily, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's a round that someone will have to make, but, so if this is going to truly be a partnership thing for us, I think we can approve or
Yes.
say yes in concept, this is where we wanted to go, get us some prices, but I think we really need to look at what the layout of it is, and as opposed to us putting more green space around that whole area, and then looking at what will we preserve on the other part. And yeah, we want people to do their stuff there, but that's not the priority for somebody coming in for a weekend. It's a priority for the people living here. So that's where I'm concerned about, is us making it comfortable for them, not necessarily for people coming in from out of town.
All right, so if we say yes tonight for you getting the bid, some of that stuff can all still be done as we go along.
Correct. It just,
Absolutely.
everything can still be done. I work with the county manager in reference to the city portion, and we will go back with the engineers and take the comments from today and adjust the design accordingly. I'll need to work with leisure services because this is space that they're currently using. So this will definitely give us plenty of direction to go into, and head towards bidding. Yes.
So, since Kelly is here, do we have plans? I mean, is someone actually using that part of that field? I mean, are they playing ball there at all?
Not unless it's a pickup from a picnic,
Uh-huh.
someone's renting a pavilion, but they still have plenty of green space there to,
To do what it is that people want to do, like when we set the Christmas tree up out there.
oh yes.
Yeah, I would love the fact that that space would be very green for just, because we got so much stuff there.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay.
And we'll just pull that design out and right. I definitely think we can see the direction that we would need to go into.
All right, this is
Absolutely.
next.
Sorry, sir. Commissioner Flowers Taylor, just for clarity's sake, green means more than grass. So are you looking for shrubs and maybe some small trees around the area so that we can really highlight that green
Right,
effort?
I don't mean just leave grass, I mean, you know, manicured paths to walk on, benches for people to sit on, some shade structures closer to where parents would be sitting with kids so they can watch them. And then a little bit of space between us and the skate park.
Alright.
Not necessarily the same group of people that would be using it, but it's a different.
And maybe some landscaping in between so that
Right,
it gives some
that
separation.
separates the gym from the water park. I mean, the parking would still remain the same, but it wouldn't kind of have everything piled all up, and we can kind of.
Yes, ma'am. That is very clarifying for how staff will proceed with the bids. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Order-
absolutely.
Order of magnitude on, we're talking about next spring, next summer,
Best case scenario, yes.
okay?
That would be great.
That'd be great.
Yes, yes. Okay, we'll vote on this tonight. Anything else you need to have from TJ?
No, I'm good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Get you that.
Next, this afternoon, we will hear from Dr. Ledbetter with the explanations for separating the lease into two separate leases for the plans of the former Hanlighter property.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to bring the lease discussion back to the Board of Commissioners. We had approved, or you guys had approved, the lease for the collaborative to utilize not only the property for Waypoint, but it included also the property for the living quarters. And through some discussion and great guidance from Commissioner Flowers Taylor and the chairman, you guys have asked us to separate those leases, one for the collaborative in response to taking care of Waypoint, and then a separate lease that would satisfy the requirements for the living quarters. And working with the county attorney, Ms. Wyndham, actually pulled those two leases together for us. I've sent those for review to both Ms. Regina Abbott and Sandra Brownlee. I believe that the responses were positive for the two leases. And the request this evening is going to be for your consideration to move forward with contracting through the collaborative for both of those leases.
Okay, I had a different conversation with them since you talked to.
Oh, my goodness.
This
Okay,
is what
so.
workshops are about.
So let me just start on the front side by saying that when Waypoint came here and they presented to us as a board, they were able to show us how many veterans in our county that were homeless. They were able to show us that it cost Wellstar Spalding $39,000 a year for each homeless vet that could not get services or did not have services. They gave us the number of how much is spent out of the county and the state on food stamps. All of the expenses that a homeless person, and that was just for veterans. And I know personally of 10 people in my district who were able to not only get their benefits, but to get 100% benefits, to get mental health care. 2 of them have become homeowners. The rest pay rent, buy cars, buy car insurance, they buy their food at Kroger, they go to Home
Success.
Depot.
That's success.
So that burden was taken off the community because of that organization, which is made only of volunteers. Nobody gets paid. So when I saw the contract, I was very surprised, and I'm not really sure which one it was. It may have been Hanlighter. That part of the requirement is that Waypoint will be responsible for all of the repairs. Now, we have the UGA in a building. We have the Army Vet Center in a building. We have whoever that's partnering with us in a building. We don't require them to fix the air conditioner if it does not work. We don't require them to fix the roof if there's a problem. We don't require them to fix the plumbing. Waypoint has been there almost 9 years. We never required them to be responsible for any of the damage that happened to that old building. And so the call from Regina and Sandra was, why is that different? Why is that different in this contract? They are performing the same services that they have been for the last 9 years. We asked them to move. They didn't come to us and say, we gotta have a new building. So I think that needs to be changed.
It was in the second one, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, and I also wanted to requested to have these contracts separated because no matter what happens with the living quarters, we still need those veterans to provide those services in the community, to make sure that veterans that are getting out still continue to get their benefits, that their families receive their benefits. So I don't want to see us create a contract that ties Waypoint's veteran services to Waypoint providing housing, which is a different service. I don't expect that it would fail, but if the living quarters don't work out, we still have veterans in our community that need those services. So that was it. And the other thing that Regina had a concern about from the collaborative, Regina Abbott, was that as the collaborative being the partner, even though they are allowing the Waypoint to do this, it still gives us some liability. Forgot I sat on the collaborative. So yeah, that's a concern. So having this language clear in this handlighter contract makes the difference in why is it different now. Now, in terms of the contract for the living quarters, I don't think I saw where they were responsible for the building, because my thought was, if they're responsible for building, are they responsible for the cameras that we're gonna have in there? Or, you know,
They're both identical at
They
this
are.
point.
okay, so the contracts that I read, and I share it with you about, are not that.
That's correct, yes, ma'am. They're both clean contracts, just as we had all discussed.
And so then my other question, then past the contracts, because I didn't go back and read the rewrite, is it incumbent upon us as a board, because certainly in the housing part, we are partnering with them. Is it incumbent upon us as a board, or us as a board with Waypoint, to address donation from the Griffin Spalding Military Affairs Committee? Because I think that has to happen, because
Not
regardless
in these
of,
documents.
Hmm?
Not in the lease
No,
document.
I said in addition
Yeah.
to that, because, in looking at anybody's operating expenses, you don't know if you're gonna have one butt in the bed or 15, but you have to still plan to budget. And so we've talked around this the whole time. I think we're down to the wire now where we need to know what the commitment is gonna be.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's aside from the contract. So if those things are changed in the contract, then I'm fine with it. Like I said, I think people need to be reminded of how disturbed most of us were when they came to our community and brought those staggering figures about people who have served their country in war and non-war time, and they're living under a bridge because nobody can help. So,
Agree.
as a veteran, I think it's important that we keep that relationship with them.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Chair, as an aside, I would, this evening, when you consider both of these contracts, one of the things that I've been working in the background is to make an invitation, because this board had asked me to make invitation for our state representatives to participate in the open house, and I'm working on a date for that. But with your approval, I would very much like to reach out to another Georgia federal person who I think would be very beneficial as a part of seeing what our community is doing, and that would be Mac Collins. As Secretary of the VA now, Mac is a Georgia native, and he is very in tune with what's going on with our veterans, and I would very much appreciate the Board of Commissioners making that a part of the motion, that we invite not only our local delegation, but our federal delegation, and even the Secretary of the VA, and maybe afford you the opportunity as a board to sign that invitation for him to come and be a part of this, because I think this is a big deal for our community, but I think it's a big deal for our state.
Well, we have a lot of collaborative partners in other
We do.
counties that have been helping us, and so, while this presents an opportunity for Spalding County veterans to restart their lives, I don't think that there is a boundary line. If there's somebody in Henry who is in the cohort and they send someone here, our goal is to rehab as many vets as possible.
Yes.
So I think that it's important that all of the people who have the ability to help maintain this are here, to know that this is what we're doing. We haven't gotten help from y'all yet, but this is what we've been able to accomplish so far in our community.
Yes,
about
ma'am.
veterans.
And your cohort, from when you got the beds and all that stuff, all those people should be invited.
They are all, they contact me weekly asking me to give them a date, and I'm not trying to push them off. I really am not. I'm trying to make sure that we coordinate with everything we've got
Right.
going on. And you're right, Commissioner Flowers Taylor. The cohort members from Henry County, Zeus, the bed company, provided brand-new mattresses for this facility. Another cohort member provided all of the furniture. And they're still in the background working with some of our retailers like Lowe's and Home Depot to provide certain items like microwaves or dorm room level refrigerators. I mean, this is just a great opportunity for us to showcase how much we care for our veterans here in Spalding County.
And lead time is important to get this. We've got to get the time so that we can get those kinds of people on the calendar.
That's
If you
exactly
say we're
right.
going to do it in 2 weeks, those people can't get here.
That's
Okay.
exactly right.
And
All right,
Mr.
so-
Chairman, I don't want to forget the crucial step, and that is that, the collaborative has to enter into a lease agreement with Waypoint that we have to approve we have to approve the assignment of that lease in a public meeting. So that's between the two of them, but that has to happen before.
So-
Before we agree with our lease?
No, we agree with our lease, but it has to happen
Oh,
before
okay.
anybody moves into anything.
And I think we have a meeting in August, and we didn't address it at the last meeting because there were some questions about the language. So I will be able to share with both of them after this meeting what the new contract looks like.
Excellent, thank you.
And, Ms. Gwynn, if you'd talk pretty specifically with military affairs, they've got, what I have always talked to them about is they're going to be able to provide some cash, really and truly, to take care of some things. We're gonna have a room mother, whatever the right thing is,
A space for them to have an office.
and they're gonna have to probably pick up some of that to be able to pay for it.
Well,
And we gotta make sure that that's, because we just can't put those veterans in there by themselves, I don't think, without anything.
I don't, I'm not real sure but I think because we're doing two separate contracts, it is a thing that we can talk about because just as I was saying before, they're all volunteers.
Yeah.
You can't hire somebody and you don't have a means of paying a salary for them.
Yeah,
to
but
do that.
as I remember, when they came to us and we started this thing, they had a series of $100,000, $150,000 that they said, we're willing to put into this. Well, now it's getting into putting it into this to be able to do it, and if we have to figure out how to do.
And that's what I was talking about, aside from what we're voting on tonight, we need to,
Clarify those.
yeah, where
yes.
we are with that.
All right,
yeah.
so
Absolutely.
as you have your conversations,
Okay.
okay. All right, anything else on that?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay. At this time, we'll hear from Director Kelly Carmichael regarding a recommendation from Parks and Leisure Services Advisory Commission regarding adding contract security services for recreational sports.
That's right. Thank you for the opportunity to present this in a workshop setting. During the budget cycle of FY '26, we were directed to present an RFP to evaluate how our security services might be looked at differently. You can go to the next slide. These are just some of the real headlines, not locally, but you can see that providing safe places for recreation has been and still is one of our top priorities in Spalding County. Next slide. We need an RFP because at present we were unable to fulfill the minimal security requirements. We have multiple venues with seasonal demands. The RFP allowed us to spell out exactly what we're looking for and what we need year-round. And in our master planning process during public survey, we have learned that safety is a number one concern for our residents here. Next slide. We had 5 responding agencies. Each was scored on the basis of their responsiveness. Their costs widely varied from unarmed at $27 an hour to $65, armed at $42.50 an hour to $65. We chose the 2 top responding agencies, interviewed them in person, and there was one clear agency to consider, and they are Valor Protective Safety Agency. Their fee structure is unarmed at $39 an hour and armed at $45 an hour. These are some of the services that they provide. They provide a physical presence, a uniformed presence. They wear body cameras. They drive an identifiable vehicle. They're involved in de-escalation. They initiate first responders for medical and behavioral emergencies. They document and report to us. They provide protection of attendees and staff, protection of county property, access control, entry and exit points, rapid response to incidents. There are visual deterrence, active surveillance, and they provide venue zone coverage. Through this process, we learned a great deal. I met with the Sheriff's Department a few times, wanted to make sure that we were on the same page with regards to this. And Dr. Ledbetter and I spoke sometimes about the potential of a hybrid approach. We're looking at having year-round community center schedules continuing to be offered by our county deputies, considering a contractual agreement with a security agency for seasonal sports, a potential for combining armed and unarmed officers based on the need for each venue. We could even possibly work with county deputies and security officers working at the same venue jointly as armed and unarmed officers. For example, we discussed Memorial Stadium. One officer cannot possibly manage, they cannot and will not sign up for that duty to manage a facility that large with just them by themselves. In today's current climate, those days are gone. Considering Volunteer Park, having one officer cannot possibly safely cover that large of an area. So that's why we're looking at, and this would be part of the plan with whoever we contract with, and the Sheriff's Department as well, creating zones so that each officer is aware of what area they're responsible for and what their duty is, whether it's at the entry point, exit point, or watching spectators in this area, etc. Next slide. So this schedule is what we would work with our Sheriff's Department deputies. This is what we're currently doing. Fairmont and City Park Community Center. I purposely left off Ambucks on this because that is soon to be a project space. So this is what it costs, what it will cost for deputies to man those facilities annually. When they work in our facilities, that is charged to leisure services overtime.
I don't agree with that.
Which part?
I don't agree that it's charged to leisure services overtime.
It's because they are county employees.
I understand that, but that's the whole point. You can't have the deputies work for you unless it's overtime. If you can pay somebody who is a civilian contractor less than overtime. That was the whole purpose of looking at this security, because the conflict. Nothing against the Sheriff's Department, but all we need is someone to detain people or to have a presence of authority there. And so, while I'm glad that the sheriff is willing to allow people to do that, but we should be able to find a security company who can provide all of those services. Because what if the deputies are on a call, or what if, when you say stuff like, okay, we're looking at something that would allow the sheriff's deputies to know where they're working and the other people. Well, we got personalities. We got hormones. So I'm over here struggling as an unarmed whatever, and there's this guy who is not really my partner on the other side of the field. Yeah, how we gonna really know how to communicate? Because if you are a armed security company, why wouldn't you want to have your own armed and unarmed team members there who know how they're supposed to work? I'm not pretending to know about security. I'm going on what I would feel comfortable with knowing what's happening. I mean, generally when you go somewhere, you don't know all the intricacies of how people are doing stuff. I mean, right now you're talking about the football game. How many police officers do they have at the football game?
For a high school football game, it could be as many as 15.
Okay, do we have high
For
school
recreation
football?
level, we would have 4 or 5.
And how
Because
often would that
the
happen?
spectator load is much less.
Right, but
at a
how
recreation
often would that happen? There's the
We would do
Super Bowl
5, I
game.
believe we have 5 weekends a season hosted locally because we interleague with other departments. So we would host approximately 5 home games.
Okay, so that is at the stadium.
Yes.
And so that has been calculated in approximately how many?
So if you'll go to the next slide, there should be one before that. Sports venues.
I mean, I get it.
So the for contractual, which would be what we would do with the security company, that cost is $72,696.
I haven't got to
It's
that.
just the next.
Commissioner Bolden, how about some thoughts, comments? You've been there?
Well, the first time one of these armed securities tried to detain me or hold me in a spot and I'm trying to leave or go, I'm gonna own the county.
If you're showing out
He
and
can't
you're on a
detain you.
county
He
facility.
has no authority to detain you whatsoever. That's when they gonna involve our deputies anyways.
Right.
The reason, the overtime, I don't agree with overtime because I don't think it's fair that you got a $22 an hour deputy going out there making $30 an hour. This is on their time, and then they're taxed heavily on overtime. So, I mean, they're really not making anything from get-go. So that's why you're having a hard time finding officers to go out there. I don't know how or if there's a way, but like if they go work at a movie set, which they're gonna get taxed on that too, but they're making 55 and up on money like that. So that's why we're having a hard time having deputies and officers and from other agencies to even consider working these things. And every one of them, like I used to work a lot of them. I used to stay over at Tice Park religiously, and it's I mean, you're setting yourself up all the time. I mean, it's always fights. I mean, it's just T-ball preachers. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, you just
Well,
don't
that's
believe the
the
people's
whole
fun.
I understand that. That's
But-
the whole purpose.
But like I said, you take these security guards, they can't be grabbing folks. They can't touch folks. They can't, because when you grab somebody, that's use of force.
If
So
you're,
you touch somebody, it's
I
use of force.
understand that. If you're the security guard and you're smoking or you're brandishing your weapon in the presence of children, and they ask you not to do it and you don't, then you call law enforcement.
Observe and report is what Sheriff's
Right,
Department calls
that
it.
that
Observe
is
and
what the
report.
sheriff's
And then if
department is
there's
for.
not, and if there's not a deputy there, you're gonna look 7 to 8 to 10 minutes by that time. What the fuck you telling me to tell? You can't tell me to do this. I'm just
Then they go into
security
jail.
guard.
Yeah, no.
But he's not going to jail till the deputy gets there because you got a
No,
security guard
no.
telling him in this.
The same way you go in Walmart, and if not you, if someone steals something, the staff in Walmart can detain you. Is that
They
illegal?
can't put their hands on you.
I don't know
So
how that
if you-
happens,
if you
but
walk
they
on
can
by 'em,
detain you.
what-
They can detain you.
And I
if
used
you
to
live
work
out
with,
the
and I
street.
used to work with the loss prevention at Walmart all the time. They would watch, report, and try to get an officer there. The ones that were stepping in front of folks and trying to hold them back, they're setting themselves up.
I don't
mean,
want
they can't do that,
anybody-
'cause
I mean,
that's
if
false
you-
imprisonment. I mean,
if
you
you
can't
punch
hold somebody
somebody-
against their will
right.
unless you got an authority to do so.
If somebody, which we do have people fighting, if somebody gets punched in the face, no, you don't have to maintain them, but you got their vehicle number, you got a picture of them, you have all those things, so they can leave if they want to. But there is gonna be a law enforcement or officer that's gonna take a report, and then there's gonna be a warrant for that person's arrest. So
On a good day. I
bad
mean, if-
stuff
if-
is
if
going to
everything
happen
aligns.
wherever it's gonna happen. My point is saying that in order for us to be good stewards, we don't have, we rarely have had to have somebody at pickleball. Cause they just ain't out there fighting like that.
My concern is the respect. Like, if they're gonna respect, a private security company more than they respect law enforcement.
If I go to a concert and security tell me to get back, I'm getting back, okay?
I mean,
So
you-
you hear what I'm saying?
I go to
Everybody's
some
allowed
rowdy
to carry a
concert
weapon,
then.
yeah.
Cause like I see some guys that don't care about security. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
They can get, they get rolled up. You can't account for every person who does not respect the law.
Mm-hmm.
But most people do respect the law. And when you have that person who is going to do what they want to do anyway, if they break the law, there is a law enforcement officer being called. If they don't call, that's on the sheriff, because guess what? Having a full staff of deputies, which I think he said he has now, means that their response time should be appropriately shorter. I mean, I'm not
Yeah, and
trying
another
to tell
thing-
them how to do their job, but that is the premise. When he told us that is part of the problem with the response time, is that they didn't have enough people. They weren't fully staffed.
I got a question. Let's say like the deputies that want to do it, are we gonna affect their overtime or like extra money? I don't know. I'm just asking. Are we gonna affect like their extra pay or anything?
Oh,
Nothing
okay.
like that. Like if they want it, just say I want to do this job to make extra money, and we giving it to
So
somebody else.
I'm not sure. If they want to contract with leisure services, they can't do that unless the sheriff gives them permission to work part-time.
That's correct.
So
We signed the agreement for outside work.
So, but if we want to get technical, and I know this is gonna get under Ryan's skin, but it's okay. I love it.
fine.
I have a problem with a deputy sheriff going to work at the movie theater. You wearing a county gun, you driving a county car, you wearing a county uniform, and the county ain't getting a penny and benefit from you going to work your second job with our equipment. Now, trust me, after this many years, I'm over it. They're gonna do like they wanna do. But I'm saying the standard is not the same. TJ can't go riding off in his truck and go help people move some limbs. So yeah, I get it that at one point in time, we were using all of these perks to keep people here. But we paying them good money now. So some of those perks, like you talk about people getting overtime, I ain't mad at you for wanting to get overtime. But when it costs the taxpayers 25 or 30% more than what it would cost if you hired someone else to do it, which we're at a catch-22 because you can't arrest anybody here unless our sheriff allows you to. So yeah, but we still have to look out for what's best for leisure services. And so therefore, I feel like if you're gonna have to pay somebody and not pay them overtime to work.
I'm not quite sure how you do that.
Well, no, I'm saying the Griffin Spalding Wellstar has a private security agency. The school system has a private security
okay.
agency.
So your issue is get the private security.
Get someone who is at a marketplace that has a good reputation, and if they can provide unarmed security at the Little League baseball game, I don't know how bad they might fight there. Or if we require pickleball to provide security, and sometimes they do their own security, but if we get them to provide security, they don't have to pay somebody $62 an hour so they can arrest people. They probably can just get by with a 32-hour or $40 an hour guy who just needs to be there in case people forget they ain't at their house. So that is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a number that is reasonable, something that we can count on, because when you hire private security with a contract, the expectation is that when you call and say, or I give you this schedule, you're going to be there. When we try to do that, and you know this, when we try to do that with deputy sheriffs, even when they have committed to come, if something comes up with their family, if something comes up at work and they got to go and be doing police stuff, They gotta go do that. And so now we got a facility that needs security, and we don't have anybody to do it. So I'd rather go with a sure response that we can hold someone accountable. We can't really hold a deputy accountable because they had to go and do a police thing, go to a robbery or go to a car accident. That's their job.
Okay, let's talk about that. What are we doing right now?
So what we're doing currently while we're going through this process is the sheriff's department is still providing our community center security. Now, when it comes time for football, which is right around the corner, we're in a place of need.
What did we do last year?
Last year, we had staff trying to de-escalate situations. We did not have continuous service. We were very vulnerable last year.
And we have the rules up. Do we have that up?
This is,
Yeah.
For example, you take like the home game, you know, we probably had 50 officers there from Spalding and city and had people surrounding, you still ended up with a death. So, I mean, it's,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Folks is gonna
Yes.
show out.
My
You're
thing,
not never gonna be able
if
to
these
stop that.
people is fighting, they need to be barred. You know, they don't need, it need to be said. If you're gonna fight, you can't participate in no other game. Point blank.
So
we
Yeah,
do
you
have a
really-
process
We
for
do
that.
that.
Yeah.
The parents
they
are
really need to do
barred,
that.
or the player is barred. I don't care who you are. If you have an infraction, you're off of Spalding County Leisure Services property for good until there's a hearing or whatever
That's right.
else. But you cannot legislate morality. If you're just a butt and you are that way everywhere that you go, I don't expect that you're gonna act any different. And if I'm sitting next to you and you showing out, I'm pretty much just gonna turn my back and try to look at the game this way and let you go on about your business. Because there's no sense in me getting mad because your breath stink or because you didn't take a shower. I can just get up and move because I got that kind of control. Excuse me, let me get up. But when somebody just showing their butt,
Then
you
you
just
dealing
need
with
to
that,
go on
yeah.
and let the security man get their tag number and let them roll out and he can write a report that Ryan was over here. He called me a little bit. He gave me the finger. He kicked the side of my car door. Here's his tag number. He had on brown pants and some white socks with something on the bottom of them. And then they can go find him whenever they get a chance to do it.
Okay,
But if he leaves, that's what we want.
okay, let's talk about
So
this.
the final slide here shows you what the total cost for security, estimated cost in a year. And that's with deputies providing the community center security, which they're currently doing, and adding the recreation sites, the venues.
This is a new cost.
No, they've been paying it. They've been paying it as overtime.
Is this in our budget today?
It,
Part of
The-
it, some of it?
part of this is in our budget today. And kudos to the sheriff because the sheriff actually, takes care of a fair amount of the money when the deputies are working. So we're not paying a full amount for the deputies. He's paying for it out of his own overtime account. The reason why the overtime is required for the employees is because the deputies are employees of the county, and if they clock time with the county, then they are paid through the county. I've questioned that as well to make sure that the answers were correct, and Miles has assured me that under the HR rules for the employment process, we are not allowed to exclude them and then pay them as if they were working for a movie or for Walmart or for another entity. They are employees of Spalding County, so they are paid for an overtime. That means that they're off the clock, not responding to calls for service unless it's an active shooter or something of a high nature.
But they're working at a private job while they're still on duty for the county.
That is
Their
correct.
job is 24/7.
That is correct,
I-
yes, ma'am.
Anybody understand? I love the sheriff's department. I want them to show up when I call. But when you start getting into these intricacies like this is where the confusion is. And you have to just stop and look at, what are we trying to do here? And when I look at these numbers, that it's $141,000, and Kelly, I love you to death, I don't trust this, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't trust this. Because when you set in a report that explained how increasing the senior center timetable hours open for 8 hours a week was gonna cost $40,000 for security, and we're not paying security at all at the senior center right now, I'm still trying to scratch my head to figure out, what the hell does that mean? It means nothing. Why would we pay $40,000 for security for the senior center to be open from 4 to 6 o'clock? It's daytime. You don't have one there from 8 to 4. Why would you have one there from 4 to 6? So I love you, but I don't trust you when it comes to these numbers, because I think you put inappropriate information in and it's misleading. I don't know how else to say it.
Okay, all right, so,
I actually have, if you'll look at your documents, the full proposals, it's completely spelled out by the number of hours. It's purposely broken down so that you can see the math along the way to get to that number.
But why would you tell us that we needed to pay $40,000 for security at the senior center to extend the hours when we don't have security there at all? I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the other letter that you sent out explaining. That is my question. And because of the way that you wrote that report, that is why I'm challenging you about these costs and how you have actually come to this conclusion. Because I don't feel like before last month that maybe you didn't even really know how many hours we were having security. Maybe it took y'all a little bit of time to get it together. But that's a lot.
okay, so, we have some or all of this money programmed.
Yes, sir.
And we could start with the private security, and if that doesn't do the job, we stop in that contract and go back and do a different way. Or we can start off with unarmed and then go to armed if we have to be able to do that that way.
Why don't, now, like I said, I don't, James may have some different questions. He's got some legal stuff, but Ryan's the police, so he knows what is supposed to happen. Do you think that we need to interview any security agencies? I mean, I know that they've interviewed them, but I feel like when I look at the school system, the hospital, these different manufacturing places, people be showing out at the hospital, but everybody out there ain't got a gun. Y'all all been out there. And people do show out, but they have to get somewhere afterwards, because the city of Griffin is gonna be there. So in a lot of instances where we have people playing is not necessarily in the city of Griffin, we know the response time is gonna be better there. So does this number reflect that like at City Park? Do we need armed guards at City Park? That's somebody's zone. That's what they're doing in the city, is they ride around in that zone. So their response time should be pretty quick. So maybe they don't need an armed guard when they have the city so readily available. Wyoming Titus Park, we got a bunch of space. Maybe the deputy from that area is all the way out on Vaughn Road down on the other end. It might take a minute. So you may need, if it's one of our football games where we get to fight and stuff, you might need just at football games have an armed guard. But I think just having guards because we have an event is not appropriate, because it's not needed at pickleball. It's not needed at the cheerleader thing. Sometimes it's not needed at little pee-wee football. Sometimes. I don't think the girls or boys softball have a lot of fighting. Do they?
Softball, girls softball, yes.
Girls softball, okay. So when you figure out the places where the danger is, then maybe you look at the type of security is there. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if what Leisure Center, and I'm saying this because I wasn't at this meeting, but I read all the minutes, that what they were looking for in terms of security and thriftiness is what we are looking for. We're looking for results, especially in places where we know people might be in danger. And that doesn't go for every place that we have something happened. I would never think of having security over at our Legacy Museum. Why? Somebody gonna get mad? The stove wasn't lit? There's some places you won't need. We probably need it at this meeting, but leisure services won't pay for that. So yeah, and there may be some times where we do need it, but just for leisure services purposes, I just need to know better that these, and I challenge Steve because he says that the sheriff has paid for some of the overtime. Well, where's the money that we spent? What do we spend that on if the sheriff was picking up some of the overtime? Maybe we didn't budget correctly. Cause I don't know how much he's picked up of it, but 68,000 plus what? I don't know.
That's a fair statement. And I do very much appreciate your comments with respect to understanding the needs for each one of the sporting events, specifically around what type of officer to have at the sporting events. It makes a big difference for understanding, whether or not we need an armed guard or an unarmed guard, just like the school system or just like the hospital. I think that's a very valid statement that we need to ensure that we're digging through that and providing the right information back to this board.
To help with that question, it's spelled out in the proposal section where we've identified one armed, one unarmed, so that you would at least have one that can respond as an armed officer and one that can respond as an unarmed officer to be more cost effective. It's the recommendation sheet, it's all spelled out in there. The number of weekends, the number of hours, total number of hours, total number of locations, times number of officers, whether it's 45 an hour or the unarmed. I've tried very hard to make sure you have all of those breakdowns that you mentioned in this proposal.
All right, I'm not sure we're ready to vote tonight
Yeah.
on this. How are you two?
I got some
Yeah.
more questions, and I need to write them down, and I need to talk to you about what your
All right,
expectations.
so my recommendation is,
Get his opinion on some stuff.
my recommendation is tonight we table this till we get a little bit further, a little more knowledgeable, each of us, before we stick.
Right,
vote on it.
I mean, because this is somebody grandma telling y'all what she thinks security is supposed to be. I defer to you and to anybody who's got police officer experience, because you're saying it a different way than I see it.
And I understand the concerns, like I say, the deputy's not willing to work for this amount of money is leaving a lot of the parks unattended. So, I mean, that's a problem, but, I mean, we gotta meet some happy median there. I mean, it's just.
I mean, yeah.
What
This-
can
this-
I
Have
do
a
to
little-
us?
Yeah.
We need a little bit more thought through, and I think we need to think a little bit more thoughts through it too. So my intent is to go ahead and table this tonight. Let's move on, let's think through this, let's give Dr. Ledbetter some opportunity to kind of come to grips with some of the thoughts we have and figure this back out and bring it back up to us
Okay.
in a couple of weeks.
And I'm gonna stand strong with if they serving alcohol, they're gonna have an armed deputy there.
Oh, I don't
Oh,
care.
Yes,
without
that's part of our
question.
policy.
Absolutely.
Maybe
I
even
know,
two.
I,
Maybe even two.
pickleball,
Yeah.
but.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
You've given us the information first time through. This is us thinking through it. We're not quite ready to get where you are already.
Okay, thank you.
All right. At this time, I would like to hear from Director Emberger regarding Phase 1 of the road assessment project. TJ, back up with us again. Excuse me, let me get closer to the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. This is, I got a, yeah, yes. Right, the second one.
All right, well, TJ's getting set up and ready to go. For us, one of the strengths we have on what we're doing with T-Splosh is we had a specific list that we worked our way through. And 95% of it, 98% of it did not change at all. We've been working our way through it according to the list. I believe what TJ's getting ready to talk to us now is about a new list on what it's going to look like. And if we have our way with the SPLOS next year, we're gonna do the same thing again. And we've already decided kind of, at least we've talked about, a percentage of the SPLOS is gonna be for roads. And my intent is to say to all of us, the list that he gives us is the list that we're pretty well gonna follow. So we wanna listen to him talk through how he got to where he is and all of that. All right, TJ, I'm sorry if that was some of the stuff you were gonna talk about, but I wanted to make sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is correct. This is an update on the roadway assessment survey that y'all approved almost a year ago. This is the new list that lists the conditions, or what we call PCI, of every paved road inside of Spalding County. Would like to also note that in your agendas you have links to the specific list that includes the PCI by segment. The segment of road is from intersection to intersection. Interesting note there, when we did this 7 years ago, we had less than 2,000 segments. We currently have 2,123 segments in our road system. It also give you a separate list of PCI by road average, and then an alphabetical. Excuse
Say
me.
that again about
Which-
segments.
So segments is from intersection to intersection. That is called a segment.
All right, but that's not how we did the last one,
Yes,
correct?
it is.
Okay.
So it is exactly how we did the last one. We've grown by almost 200 segments in the last 7 years.
Okay.
Okay. So the links do have the list that, like I said, is broken up in 3 different lists that we provided you by segment, by overall road score, and then alphabetical. So you can look up each road alphabetically or by score as you wish. Would like to thank our GIS department. They are extremely active when it comes to presenting the information that the road assessment has provided us. And to remind you that we're speaking of paved roads only, not dirt roads.
TJ, I'm sorry, I'm looking on the agenda packet for tonight, I don't see that link, and then I'm looking at the workshop packet, and I don't see that link.
But we'll have that emailed to you today. But I thought it was there, so I apologize for
Okay.
that, and we'll
All
send
right,
that right
I'm
away.
just trying to make sure, okay?
TJ, I'll ask a question now?
Okay, that's
Okay,
you.
you
You're in
just
charge,
talked
sir.
about- You just talked about, we have more segments now,
Yes.
after we have done 3 or 4 years worth of road resurfacing. And I would have thought that we would be reducing the amount of segments because of the 100 miles of road we're going to get paved.
Segments are added by adding new roadway. So when you build a new subdivision, new industrial park, you add roads, you add segments.
Oh, okay, you're not,
But those are not being evaluated if they're new, right?
As of this January, all roads were evaluated. Yes, everything that existed in January.
Every road.
Every single mile of every road.
So does it make sense that we evaluated a road that just got put in a subdivision last year? I'm just saying.
Yes, because it gives us a baseline. And we now have more information now that we'll be presenting to you this evening as tools that you had in the last study.
all right,
Because
but
now we're using technology and data.
But we've got them prioritized. So those brand new roads would be 750, 751, 753, or whatever the numbers are.
But they would be listed as a high 90 or 100 in the scores. So you would see that as you see the presentation here, you'll see that in a green color, and that will indicate either new or as new. Yes.
Okay. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry for us interrupting.
Next slide.
And just as a baseline, 100 would be an A.
Correct.
A 50 would be an F,
Yes.
using a grade point system like we had in
Well,
school.
Yes. A 10 would be an F. Yes. Yes.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
yeah. 0 is the worst, 100 is the best.
60 is an F in school.
Well, not in the road business.
Okay.
You're almost okay with a 60. in the road business. Okay, so your PCI is your pavement condition index. This is a scoring system that's used nationally by FHWA and by GDOT. This is the acceptable way to measure conditions of roadways throughout the United States. We discussed this. It's 0 to 100. 100 is the best. And it's calculated based on the surface distress, such as cracks, potholes, and rutting. And we look at the type, the severity, and the extent. Next slide. This is what the PCIs are used for. We're assessing the overall health of the road. We can prioritize maintenance. This is what is very interesting about collecting data. For the first time ever, we'll be able to develop an actual maintenance plan for the future and for funds, possibly with funds with SPLOST and T-SPLOST. That goes hand in hand with budgeting and planning, and then measuring the improvement. Next slide. So these are the 6 items specifically that we measure. We measure these against the national standards, and you can see here are examples of those 6 items. Next slide. So this is an overall snapshot of our current road system. We have 471.4 miles. This is color-coded based on the PCI score, and this is our system countywide. Now, you'll have access to the GIS systems that we're showing here today. We will include those links as well. Next slide. So we're able to easily break down these lists and the scores by district. So we'll just quickly go through each district. Red is 0 or bad, 0 to 10. And then when you see green, that is the upper levels of good. Next slide. So District 2. Next slide. District 3. Next slide is 4. And then slide 5.
Hold it here just a minute
Yes.
now. Now that's just let me look at this for a second.
There is nothing on that Anita.
You'll have full access to the GIS
And
data.
all the money that was in the last block.
So next slide. So now this is a very extremely interesting slide. What this shows is the current T-SPLOST. So there are roads that still have to be resurfaced next year, but this is the results of the current T-SPLOST. All of the roads that you see here, regardless of the color, because green is recently resurfaced and the other colors are roads that will be completed this year or next year. This is how a T-SPLOST positively affects the county. And as you can see here, this is a lot of work that's been done. It's almost a quarter of your roadway system has been resurfaced in the last during this T-SPLOST period. Next slide. Okay, so in addition to not only having the assessment, we also got a product called Video Logger. So we now have the data, the baselines actually in video. So we can go back and look at any segment, any piece of road throughout the county, down, as you can see here, down to the foot. We have all this to refer back to. You could also see that it also has conditions. We can see the sides of the roads, our right-of-ways. You'll also be seeing in the next couple of months, I'll be presenting curbs and gutters and signs. Curbs, sidewalks, and signs will also be a part of this video logger, and we're going to be able to do data and reports for those items as well. So I just have 3 pictures here. This actually shows a road that is in the green. So you could see here pictures of overall, close-ups. You could also see that black strip on the bottom is straight down. That's where the radar actually took a picture of the road. So this is what a green road, an acceptable road, looks like. Next slide. Now we're in the yellow. So you can see that the road itself is changing and some of the conditions. Next slide. And now we are on a road that is actually in the red. And you can see how the conditions change as well. We will now have this tool so that we can go back and look at it at any time. And you'll have a link to this as well so that you could observe all of the roads in your district. Next slide. So it is very simple. Better data allows us to have more informed decisions. It allows us to bring you to as many tools as possible to look at funding sources through your general budget, your SPLOST, and your T-SPLOST. It also gives us the opportunity to first time ever to look at options. So options means preventive maintenance program. So instead of waiting for a road to go down to zero where we have to resurface, can we set parameters to allow budgets to look at preventive maintenance and to do other items that will allow us to extend the road so we don't have to resurface? So some of those options are listed here: crack sealing, epoxy, resurfacing, full depth reclamation. It'll allow us to give recommendations to you in what is the best when it comes to budget. As an example, if we have a road that has a PCI score somewhere in the 70s, like 70 to 80, instead of letting it deteriorate down to a 10, can we do crack sealing for $16,000 a mile and then go ahead and add about 5 to 7 years to the life of that road for $16,000 a mile? If we have roads that are in the 50s and 60 PCI scores, can we then go ahead and do an epoxy sealing at about $80,000 a mile and yet still add substantial life to the road and preventing it from getting down to a full resurface, which is $330,000 a mile at current budget? So these are going to be tools that we could use in the future. We will also be showing you a tool that's going to make this a lot easier. Next slide. And that is the Brightly Predictor tool. So we have this right now. This is part of, you've heard of some of our software that we're using, Asset Essentials, Confirm. This is the Facility Dude. It's the same company. We have all the data from the roadway assessment. We are now adding that into our predictor tool. In about 3 months, I'll be able to give you this tool in full. You will, so say for instance, we want to spend $100,000 a year on crack sealing. Where would that be best spent? It'll go ahead and let us know what roads. It'll give us visual descriptions and depictions. It'll also make recommendations. So if you do a SPLOST, just as examples, you have $50 million for resurfacing. Well, maybe 10 million could go into this particular preventive maintenance, 5 million into this, and 5 million into that. We could actually instantaneously use the data and then give you visual depictions of that and then be able to adjust the budget accordingly. We're going to be able to do that with this tool and all this data in just a few months as this is all being built as we speak. Next slide. So that is just an update on where we stand. I apologize if you don't have those links. We'll be sending you all the links, all the tools that you have here, you'll be able to use instantly. And then when Predictor comes out, we're going to present that to you as well. You also will have the list and those links. The list are a couple hundred pages for each category, and you'll have that at your to be able to use those tools as well.
So you're not on the agenda tonight?
This is just, this is the first step in getting ready. We asked to have the list, the prioritized list. He's got that first part. The second part he's trying to get into is taking that list and saying, here's some different ways we can spend money to make it more effective for us.
And when you're ready for that, when we, as an example, have a workshop, and if you wanted to designate funds per district or per type of PM or solid resurfacing, we'll be able to instantly show you that visually, what that looks like as far as dollars and the roadways that are affected.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
So TJ, I want to say it was either at the beginning of this last T-SPLOST or maybe it was the first year that we actually budgeted roads for you. We put down a bunch of mastic on certain roads. Whatever happened about that?
We are still doing our mastic program. So the mastic is specifically to address potholes. Why we went to mastic is that we were using processes that aren't as good as the mastic. Cold mix, which is the asphalt particles, but we lay it down cold. and then even hot mix. What happens is you're not able to prep the base accordingly. So when we move to mastic, we have different processes that allow for the base to be better repaired, and then the mastic is more of a permanent solution. So we've been using mastic now for 5-6 years. So everywhere we've repaired a pothole with mastic, it is still there. We have not needed to go return. So it's a better process to look at potholes.
Okay,
And
so we bought mastic equipment.
yes, we were the first y'all were the first county to purchase a mastic machine. We rented it for 3 months as a trial. You were the first county to actually purchase and not rent. So our mastic machine is going out on a regular basis, yes.
And TJ, your team, Kevin King specifically, was in a video from the manufacturer of the mastic company showing them how to use a better process for how to fix potholes. And they are still using that today from the company.
Right. What we do is, you're absolutely correct. Spalding County / Kevin King and our pothole folks actually designed a new system that uses millings for the base, and then we top it with the mastic. Instead of having to go with mastic levels and letting it cool, we're able to do it then with one topping of mastic. That we've been doing
you
this
put
for
in the
several
hole?
years. Excuse me?
What's going in the hole?
The millings. So millings is the recycling product from our resurfacing. So when we resurface, we require the bits and pieces of asphalt that they take up when they mill, we require that to come back to us. We store it and we use it in processes like mastic
But we
potholes.
weren't doing that at first, we were using asphalt.
That's correct. This is a much better process. We're kind of trailblazing. We've had dozens of counties throughout Georgia come and visit this process, and they are adopting it because of the long-term satisfaction. I have potholes that have been filled for 7 years that are holding up. It's very, very cost effective. We don't have to go back anymore.
Yeah, I was thinking that when we started mastic, we were doing the entire road.
No, ma'am. That's not designed for the entire road. Now, we do have some very large patches out there. There's some intersections that have a lot of it. County Line Road, High Falls Road. So you probably see some of these intersections. But it's not designed for the entire road. No, ma'am.
And one of the things I'd like for you all to start thinking about now is, this year, when we're doing T-Splots right now, we just took the roads and we just basically talked resurfacing, period. And then we talked about doing a few other things, some walkways and stuff like that. This year, we're going to probably look at it, next year when we pass it, probably going to look at it differently. Probably some of it will be resurfacing, but some of it's going to be some ways of doing what he's talked about for preventive maintenance. We can take these roads and for $16,000, fix them back up, so we won't have to go through and do all of that. So we're going to look at it a little bit differently. It's the same kind of an idea, fixing roads, which is important, but we're going to have some more options to be able to do some stuff, I think.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And it's all be data-based.
TJ, well,
I got one more question.
yes, please.
So what about the resurfacing on the dirt roads? I mean, we're only looking at resurfacing, so far we've only looked at resurfacing roads. We have a couple of very long dirt roads, out by Hosanna Road and off of Tiemann. What's the game plan for that? Or do they get evaluated in this?
That they were not part of this evaluation. No, ma'am.
I mean, because clearly if they were, it would be that you're a zero. So
Right.
I'm just trying to, I see these tools that you said that we have. I'm just wanting to make sure that we're covering all of the things that we're doing for road preservation, even if it's the dirt road, because clearly how many miles of that stuff did we use and was it successful?
We have 82 miles of dirt road. As you're aware, you've already funded the repaving of Pine View. So I authorized for the bid to go out last week. We have secured enough of the easements. So Pine View Road will go out to bid. I'll be bringing you a price in the next few months to complete the paving there. That was a road that we already have the right of way. You will have additional options because the rest of Covington Road, we already own the right of way, so you could consider that as a project in the future. We did do the chip and seal process for 2 years. We
That's
had.
what we call chip and.
Chippens, yes, ma'am. We had some good and bad with that.
One good, one bad.
We were able to find out that when you have a high traffic flow through road, the chip and seal does not do well. We can use it on a dead end road with minimum traffic, it works extremely well. So one example is Henley Road. That's off of Barnesville Road. We chip and sealed that 2.5 years ago. It still looks brand new. We've had no potholes. We were going there once a week. We had many complaints. It's a road that's very typical here in Spalding County. 4 years ago, there was 2 or 3 legacy homes on that road. A year later, there was 15 homes on that road. So it's a dead end road. We were able to chip and seal it. We've not been back for any maintenance. So we can use that as a tool in the toolbox, and it's very effective in some situations. Unfortunately, the roads there that are getting a lot of travel through traffic, a lot of cut through traffic, a lot more Amazon trucks, garbage trucks, trucks in general.
So, and I'm saying
We
that
don't have a
because
good process for
a
that
place
yet.
like Amelia, I know maybe the people don't necessarily want it to get it paved. And I'm not trying to make a place for people to go from 155 the other way, but since there's so much traffic even on dirt road, what do we do when we get a place like that just blows up overnight and the road is dirt? I'm just trying to figure out, we can't keep waiting because at some point we're gonna be, okay, you gotta ask people for the right of way or an easement or whatever. But they steadily keep building houses on there and they're steadily driving on that road and they're steadily tearing it up. So what do we have in this process where we can start trying to look at address some of these? There's another road over there besides Amelia Road that's a dirt road.
Apple Road.
A lot of traffic.
Apple,
Yeah.
right.
So I'm just saying, whatever it is that we're doing, I think it's important for us to look at assessing these high traveled roads, because whether people want it or not, for safety reasons, we need to look at emergency vehicles being able to get there. You know, not cross town, but connectivity. If the traffic is on there anyway, we may as well make it a safe connection rather than. So I'm just want to make sure that we don't forget to look at. We haven't addressed paving roads. I mean, we had to do a total reclamation down on Jackson, but there's a couple of roads over there off Teeman Road that are just.
So Amelia Road, we did do the
Highway.
chip and seal.
Didn't work.
I'm going to say, well, about 90%, I think, is still holding up. We're trying to experiment with different ways to fix the potholes. We have some mastic over there. We've done pretty good with millings. We're going to go back with the mastic here after the temperatures cool down a little bit because of the temperature we have to finalize that product. Unfortunately, a road like Amelia Road, most likely the only ultimate solution is paving. It's 0.8 of a mile. And I would estimate that that's a $3 to $4.5 million project for 0.8 of a mile.
It's so expensive to do that. But as an example, the hard fight with the county manager when we talked about Wilson Farms, and that part of the Amelia is going to be paved. Part of
Yeah.
it. So we just need to look and say, all right, do we want to spend the rest of the money, which is big money,
That is
Yeah.
correct.
out of the next
For
loss,
0.8
to
of
say,
a mile, that's.
and it's expensive. I mean, it is
I mean, I
really.
just think we need to look at it, you know, the difference in what happens at Amelia Road in 2 or 3 years is going to be huge. And it just won't make sense to have a beautiful paved road and then you drop off onto a
Correct.
dirt road. So that's a decision we have to make as a government
And
for
that's
the
the-
aesthetics or
That's-
whatever
That's
safety.
my point of, we're gonna look at things differently than we did this time. This time, we just looked at roads and said, we're gonna slap stuff on top of them.
Okay.
Next time, we're gonna have to do some hard work, and it's gotta, among ourselves, it's gonna be a little more complicated, because we're gonna look and say, this is a whole bunch in 3, or District 3, or this is a whole bunch in 5, or whatever, we're gonna have to take some hard lines and all say, what's best for the county, and here we go.
I already took that bullet. Took it for the
And
last
I can
5
honestly
years.
say that I haven't received a road complaint in months and
I'm gonna
months
tell you
and
what,
months.
it feels so
How many
good
complaints
to
did y'all
ride
hear
down
about roads at our town hall at Fairview?
None.
0.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
When
Yarborough
so
Mill is
everybody
one.
knows, when I got here, it was amazing. I came to the board and I said, I've been here a month, 2 months, and I said, 70% of my phone calls are all about roads. And the rest of you, the board members then said, absolutely. And we decided we were gonna do T-Splosh. Here we are 4 years into it, and now it's a rarity when somebody really talks to us about, we gotta have a road problem. That's the kind of stuff that we can fix overnight, but the next time it's gonna be more complicated for us because we're smarter about how to fix it.
Yeah.
So, all right, TJ, I
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank
that. Get us the information with the links. Good work to be able to do. Order of magnitude, how much does it cost for us to do the survey?
It was approximately $175,000. That includes the signs, the gutters, and the sidewalk. And then the Brightly, that was part of the negotiations when we brought on Confirm. I presented it to you last year. So Brightly Predictor at this stage is $0.
So that $175,000 is well spent, my belief is, to be able to set up for what we're gonna do next.
And that provides us with an opportunity to do a full inventory on our most valuable asset in the county, which is our roads, signs, culverts, and sidewalks.
And we're gonna have to look at the high priority. This is the road that's got most of the business going on. Jackson is an example, although we look at it sometimes on how bad the road is, we gotta talk about the priority we wanna give to how we go north, south, east, west. How do we do those arteries so that we got them? So those are high priority, and it may be something we move around because we see that this is going to be a higher priority for what we're trying to fix.
Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Chair, just as an aside, to stay in the same lane, no pun intended, Jackson Road is still under construction. It will most likely remain under construction for at least 2 months, especially this week since it's raining. If you have not had I'm not going to say privilege, if you've not had the opportunity to travel on Jackson Road just in the last week or so, the company is having to mill down 4 full inches of that road, and they're doing full depth reclamation. So what that means is that they are rebuilding that entire road to your standards, which is the super paving standards. Please be
Will they have a
patient.
shoulder?
It will, when they finish, it will all be back and have a shoulder, but they milled down 4 inches and they're rebuilding all of that 4 inches back up. So there's a lot of work that's required to bring that road back into position. One of the things that I'm very thankful for TJ and his team for doing is presenting the information that they presented for the road assessment to help us ensure that we don't have to go do that full depth reclamation on too many roads in our county, because Jackson is a very high traveled road and there's a lot of people that use it. And right now they're not able to, and I'm sure that's impacted a lot of people. And for that, I am sorry. But on the flip side, I am very thankful that we have had the opportunity to rebuild this road in a way that's going to be beneficial for our community.
Just for the commissioners, I spent a little while with TJ, and he took me out and showed me the difference on chip and seal as an example. And whatever the first road was, Henley or whatever that was that we drove through, you could see the difference on the chip and seal. And then we went to Amelia and looked at it and said, wow, the difference between vehicles going back and forth all the time on it. It is truly amazing. And then to have him take me out Jackson and let's go out and look at what they're really doing out there and how the machines do it and everything else. It's pretty amazing, and if you get an opportunity, although TJ's got a lot on his plate, I think he would be happy to take you and show you what that looks like and how the machines do it and everything else. And they're doing one-way traffic on it, and it's not happy.
Interesting.
But it's the best thing we can do. It's like taking a shot to me. Yep, it hurts right then, but a little while longer, you
Yeah,
forget about it.
that road was awful.
Yes, it was. Yes, ma'am.
Won't
It
be.
was worse than awful.
Okay, anything else on that, TJ?
Oh, sir.
I'm going to ask one more thing of TJ. So we talked about, we approved, I think, the request for the data center on High Falls Road. That road from McDonald Road forward, and I know they're gonna do some specific paving in front of their property, but the connector between the end of that property, I think it's at Central Lake Circle and McDonald Road, is gonna need some help. So just up here, because if you're going to have airport traffic coming off McDonald Road to come down High Falls Road, it's not gonna do you any good to have super paving in front of
Just part of it.
the place, and the rest of it is like, you can fall off into a hole if you slip off the side of the road.
He's working a plan right now, a strategic plan to help you think through some of those areas of opportunity, from doing a parkway from Wild Plum all the way over to the new airport, and making sure that we're looking out for the roadway that's going to be in and around that airport area, to make sure that we're thinking through just those areas of opportunity, Ms. Quinn.
Let me take an opportunity right now. One of the things I asked TJ to show me was an opportunity I had was, we talked about the berms that we're gonna put around and out at one of the places, where was it?
It's P&K on South McDonough and
They have a berm.
Highway 16.
They have a berm like we're talking about, 10 feet tall, and then trees on top of it. And when you drive by the outside of it, you cannot see anything that's there. So the berm itself, and then the trees that go on top of it, set it up to be able to do it. Now, takes up some space for them, but it is exactly what we have been trying to talk about. So if you want to go see one in place that's there and doing it, it
On
is.
Jackson Road over by Barnesville Road.
Actually, it's the one that's on Highway 16 AKB in South McDonough. But the answer to your question on the High Falls development, if you go to 16 and High Falls and just go past the High Falls going eastbound and look back in, it's the same type setup for Doug Adams' property that's there. You can't see what's up in there. In fact, one of the opportunities that I've had over the last few weeks to ride with TJ, we went back just to visit that site. We came in from the High Falls Road area and we came across the construction area, and TJ's first response was, wow, there's a brand new road back here. And we got on the road, and the road is a very long road that they have already constructed, and it's a beautiful road. But TJ was like, I had no clue this was back here because you can't see it from the road. It's interesting because the buffering that you guys have been putting in on the zoning has really made a difference for how these developments are shaping up. So you are doing a great job.
Sound, light, visual, all that stuff is good. That's what I wanted to just say. That I saw what we want to talk about in practice, and it is very, very good. Okay, next on the agenda, thank you, TJ, I'm sorry. Next on the agenda is dogs, animal shelter.
Yes, sir. I went out to the animal shelter one day last week, and either one of their people was out sick and the other was on workers' comp. They basically had one person at work.
I went today and it was closed,
So
Because both of those people are out again. That's correct.
So I know that we can't hire our personnel policy says that we can't hire people when people are out on workers' comp. But this is a critical area. We're going to have to do something different. We're going to have to, because they need to have somebody at work there every day. And I think there is like a part-time administrative assistant, and I mean, literally, when there's nobody at work, Vicky's got to go back and help them take the dogs out and clean the pens. She's the director. Not that that's beneath her, but there's other stuff she's supposed to be doing. And I mean, I don't know what the cost is, but we have got to do better, because I understand now that all of the City of Griffin's animal control officers are also code enforcement officers. So some of them who have, I believe, who have been bringing animals out there are not necessarily trained to bring them out there. So they're creating extra work for them with those few people. It's kind of like how we talked about code enforcement. We needed boots on the ground. That was a problem. And I think we're going to have to rethink how well we want animal control to operate. We cannot expect them to do the amount of work that there is to be done out there with 1.5 persons. That and I had talked to Steve also about really looking at what it would take to start another inmate program that would allow the animal control to have the same inmates there all of the time. Because how do you get trained? I think there's some weeks that they may have, if they're lucky, they may have somebody 2 weeks and then they're gone and doing something else. Not necessarily because they did something wrong, but they move the people around. So there's no continuity for them. Clearly, I grew up around people who are scared to death of dogs. And if you're an inmate and somebody tells you that's where you're going to work, okay, I'm just saying, I know we've weathered through the last 2 weeks, getting beat up on the Facebook, and everybody mad because we're getting beat up on the Facebook. But we need to do something. We need to, and I'm not saying we should become a kill shelter. I can tell you that there's probably half of the people that live in this town and in Sun City that will come up here and tear us apart because we made that promise multiple years ago. And we've not had anybody who was able to bring that into fruition. And I give them kudos over the past year. They've done good. But you cannot operate that facility with 1.5 people. It's unfair to those people that are staffing there. We require them to be open on Saturdays so people can get adoption. But, while one person is doing adoption, who's answering the phone and then who's back with the dogs? So,
But like you said, we got to do something because I was looking at a video today, and it was like one dog, and he attacked this. It was like it wasn't in Spalding County or nothing, but it was one dog attacked this person, and before you know it, was like 5 of them just came from nowhere. And I'm like, if they start packing up, like Clay said, the humans in trouble, and that's our first priority to protect the citizen.
well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. And, we want them to adopt dogs out, but if there's nobody there who can do it, because we're also expecting them to do their statistical, do their budget, do all the paperwork that we require for the
Answer
Department
phones.
of Ag. Yeah. And so, yeah, we need a workshop. And we need to just get up off the pot and go ahead and approve the right number of staff there. That there's just not enough people working there.
I saw, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And I was just gonna say, I can't answer for these employees being out, but we've talked about nuisances, and I can honestly say that these employees probably won't come back on some of them just because of some of the harassment and the following around and stuff that has happened
People are doing,
over the last 2 weeks. I mean, I ain't gonna say no names in here, but I call them the K9 genocide group. It don't make sense to me to kill dogs, to bring in more dogs, to kill them dogs, to bring in more dogs, to make it make sense. I mean, it's gonna be a difference of opinion. I'm an old country boy. If I had it back in, we taught dogs after killing chickens, you gotta protect your own. We did it, I mean, I'm not against kill shelters or anti-kill shelters. I mean, we just gotta find a happy median, and this crap's gotta stop. I mean, I'm tired of it. I mean, I'm to the point where I wanna do the state mandate. We take in aggressive animals, and that's it. I mean, I pay taxes just like anybody else. I don't use the garbage dumps. I don't use the parks. Why should I have to pay taxes on that? Just like the
I'm
animal
leaning-
shelter. I don't
I'm
use it.
leaning
I'm a
right
responsible
with
pet owner. When my dogs are out, my dogs are with me. Dogs are neutered. Everything. I'm a responsible pet owner.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not fair for me to have to fund and pay taxes to fund an animal shelter the way it is. But then there's the other side of me that loves the animal.
Absolutely.
And if we don't do it, I mean, who is? And the way things are going right now, it's the groups, there's 3 groups, and all 3 of them want to be in charge. All of them 3 got different opinions. None of them's wrong, none of them's right. They need to come together and work together. Because like I said, they're fixing to just run it for everybody. Because I'm to the point where I'm ready to raise my hand and close it down and do what just state mandated. That's just being honest. Y'all, I may have snipers on the building next door to take me out when I walk out here, because I know you start talking about dogs. It's like at the meeting, I watched it. I watched the meeting the other night because I had to work. We're sitting here talking about homeless vets, and everybody's sitting here on their phones, talking and looking at the phone. But the second they said, you talking about humans, nobody cares. But the second somebody said something about a dog, oh my God, we got to do that. I mean, I love dogs. But when did animals become more important than people? That's just my stand on it. Like my dogs at the house, I sleep in a bed with them every night. I talk to them like I'm talking to you. I love them. I take a bullet for them. But they're a dog. They're a dog.
Okay, I think all of us agree, we gotta figure out
We
something.
gotta do something.
So, all of us have to kind of sit down, talk to Steve, give ideas, and then, we're gonna have to come up with some kind of a,
So I suggest that we do have a workshop with animal control and, whoever the supervisor, whether Erica and Steve, because even if we change to something else, we still need to work what we're supposed to be working now. And if it's not safe for our employees to be in there, or if we're working them so hard, they need to take a day off and then there's nobody at the shelter, because people can get sick. I'm not mad at them because they're on workers' comp. I'm upset because there's nobody there to do their job.
Oh.
There's nobody that Vicky can call and say, my receptionist is not here today. Do you have somebody who could come over and do adoptions or answer the phone?
all right, 18, let's, I'm solving, 18th is our next Board of Commissioners meeting. Can we be here?
I can't be here that day.
Okay, on that day or at a workshop?
I'm having some surgery,
Okay,
that
yeah,
day. and-
yeah.
So
We're still,
can't you send somebody to babysit us?
on the 18th, you're gonna have
I
some,
could, but I really feel like I've been a lot more involved with staff on this, and for that reason, I would like to be included.
okay.
28th.
All right, the 28th, we have,
Public zoning.
public zoning.
Yeah, I don't want to have a dog hearing on the same night,
No,
a workshop,
it would
the
be-
same night as public hearing. I'm not trying to commit suicide.
I'm good with that. All right.
Okay,
So we are September the 8th.
how about,
I'm sooner than later on this too.
All right.
And
Yeah, I'm ready to do it.
how about the 11th, next Monday?
Next Monday is a
That's a zoning
zoning meeting as well.
for you guys.
Next Monday, the 11th?
That's correct. Remember,
Yes.
we're at 2 zoning public hearing meetings a month because of the number of cases we're hearing.
So could we just do the workshop at like 5?
Yes.
Could y'all do that?
Yes.
Yeah, and that way we'd have that over with, 'cause I don't wanna add anything that's on it.
That's an airport meeting as well.
At 5 on the 11th, is it? What date?
So you can't
The
make that.
airport authority
Thanks,
meeting
yeah.
is at 5
Date they said.
o'clock on
That's
the
you.
11th.
That's James and Ryan also,
Yes.
Right.
to be able to do it.
Yeah, they're on the airport authority.
All right, okay, let's talk about, how about in the morning?
Y'all got them.
Y'all come up with a date. I'll miss whatever we got to get this straight.
Monday and Tuesday's hard for me.
I'll be there.
What'd you say?
Mondays and Tuesdays, that's when I usually do distribution. I set this day off, but the add a day gonna be real crucial.
Are you saying you can't do the, like the 11th at 9 o'clock?
In the morning,
You can't
He
do it.
gonna be at work.
Apparently you can't
Monday's
do it,
busy for you.
yeah, Monday be busy for me.
Why he can't do it?
because his wife is telling him he can't.
Oh, he got stuff to do. Okay, Steve, let Steve figure it out.
I will
But it
send out
needs to
a,
be sooner
I
than.
will send out a doodle poll and we'll get
Yes.
this taken care of.
And we want to do it sooner than later.
Gotcha.
Sooner than
Okay.
later,
And
please.
I'm kinda like Ryan. I don't want our animal control people to feel like when they go out to do their job that they're being tracked or harassed or evaluated or, no, they shouldn't
don't
have to
deserve
feel
it.
that way. We have zero tolerance like the hospital has for people talking ugly to nurses and doctors and being rude. We should have that same thing when it comes to
I
our
agree.
employees.
I agree.
We agree wholeheartedly.
Being harassed.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And we got to show support for these people, man. Like, we
Absolutely.
have come a long ways. We got people that are coming in from out of county that really don't know where we have come from and how far we've come. I mean, this is the third director I've been involved with since I've been this. And I'm not gonna say names, but I never got anything done. I mean, I had issue after issues. Matter of fact, one of the issues I brought, they wrote 17 citations. This is way before the one we got now. And they found them in a desk drawer when they were cleaning them out. Never served them, never turned them into the courthouse. So these people just kept on business as usual, never got, and like, why ain't y'all doing anything? Well, they did try to do something, but it stopped there.
Yeah.
That when this new one took over, she found them, went out there, and the same issues were going on, issued them citations, and they made a magistrate court. So I mean,
So,
I
yeah,
see
don't
some
have a
action, I see.
problem with- Yeah, I don't have a problem with the work that they're doing out there. I just don't want us to run them off because we're not supporting them in the way that they should.
I agree.
Agreed, yes, ma'am.
It's hard enough for us. You can imagine if that's your
Right.
job and you're
We
getting.
signed up to
We
get
signed
fussed
up,
at.
if we got thick skin, a lot of people ain't used to it.
Yes,
I mean,
okay. Anything else?
That's all I had.
That's all.
Anything, Gwen? All right, county manager, attorney, deputy county clerk, okay. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, please raise your hand. We're adjourned. What? Okay, thank you.
Friday,
Huh.
22nd of August.
Works for me.